In this video, we're going to show you how to swap out your old mechanical hard drive for an SSD to give your old computer new life. We'll start by removing the screws of the bottom plate. The screws require only a mini Phillips to remove. After you remove the bottom plate, you can now begin to unscrew the hard drive. Simply unscrew the two screws to the right of the hard drive. After those screws are removed, you can take out the restriction bar holding the hard drive in place. Carefully lift the hard drive out of place and remove the connector connecting it to the motherboard. You have now completed the first major step in replacing your hard drive with an SSD. The drive we're going to be putting in is a solid-state drive, which is much faster than a traditional optical hard drive. You can find this exact SSD available at the link below. Before you install your new SSD, you're going to need to transfer the screws from your old hard drive to the new SSD. These screws have a different head than the Phillips ones we used earlier, so be sure to have the right screwdriver handy. In this video, we're simply reinstalling the old hard drive we had before, but for you, you'll be installing your new SSD. For installation instructions of your new SSD, simply follow the instructions to remove your old hard drive backwards. Once your SSD is in place and secured, you can replace the bottom plate of your laptop. The next few steps work only on Mac systems. To proceed with the fewest steps possible, we're going to have to deal with some long wait times. For the next step, turn on your computer and hold the Command R keys as you power it on. You will now be booted into Internet Recovery. This will take some time to start up. Once you're presented with the screen, you'll have options to log into your Wi-Fi. Once connected, Internet Recovery will begin to download the software necessary for the next step. Once the download is complete, you will be presented with a screen that looks like this. Now we need to format the drive that you just put in. For you, it will be under the internal section. Once you locate it, select it, then select Erase. For the name, you can use MACINTOSH SSD or anything else you'd like. Format it as MACOS Extended Journaled. You can also use APFS if you're installing macOS Mojave or newer. If it gives you the option for scheme, you want to use the GUID Partition Map. Once you've formatted everything correctly, hit Erase. Now that your drive has been formatted for your Mac, you can begin to install the system software. Simply double-click Install macOS and then continue with the on-screen instructions to install it on the drive you just formatted. After the OS installation is complete, when you reboot, you'll be greeted with instructions to set up your computer. Just click through until you get to a screen that talks about migrating from another Mac. You want to transfer from another Mac. Now, to transfer everything from your old hard drive to your new SSD, you need to plug your old hard drive into a USB hard drive reader. Now plug that into the USB port on your computer, and your computer will detect it as a backup of your old computer. Now continue with the on-screen instructions to migrate everything from your old drive to your new one. After this is completed, your new SSD will mirror exactly what your old hard drive had on it, and your computer will run as normal, but much faster now that it has an SSD.